So in this course, we are really taking a deep dive into all of the different levels. So for our love maps, it might feel like, oh my God, we're still talking about love mapping and asking questions. But again, this is our very first level. Like, this is foundational. This love mapping is how we decide whether or not this is the person we want to continue to hang out with. We ask these questions. We like the answers. We like the way that questions are being posed to us. So it is so important that we are continuing to check in, to ask questions, to update, to get new, more relevant, more accurate information. So you have done a ton of work these first 5 lessons, right? You have asked questions, you've answered, you've gotten color. You've really spent time on how to take a question and get as much information as possible. And so I want you to do a little bit more of that. So I really want you to think about, what have I learned? Like, what new information? And if it's not new, like, what part of it did I learn more about? Maybe I deepen my knowledge on this particular topic when it comes to my partner, or I learned a new part of that story, or I understood the why behind the answer in a way I never did before, which makes a ton of sense when I think about my partner and their life and the decisions. Like, there could be so many amazing things that have come from taking the time and asking more questions and doing the love map exercises and the updating of the love map exercises. I think we might not feel like you're going to get that much from it, but it really, really is. Like, it's shocking how much we can get from doing these type of exercises of just asking questions, and how much we can learn, which is going to be so informative for all the other parts of your relationship. It's going to help you manage conflict. It's going to help you be more thoughtful. So why not, right? This is really important. This is a ritual we need to create. This is something to keep coming back to. So what, again, I want you to think about is, what is it that you learned? Is there something new? Is there something deeper, right? So I want you to write that down. I want you to think about what it is that I learned, because when you write that out and be like, holy shit, I learned something. I didn't think I could learn anything new. Will tell you that you can keep learning new things, that you will, if you keep asking and you keep looking, and we all keep evolving and changing, we are going to be able to do this and update these all of the time, right? And I want you to think about, well, what might I still want to know? Now that we've started this, now that I've gotten some new information and I see that there is new things for me to learn about my partner, I might want to know more. What kind of questions might I have that I want to write down? So when we start doing this with more like frequency and consistency, you have things in your mind that you want to know, that you are interested in. And when you ask those questions, again, it is just like amazing. This person wants to know more about me. They're interested in my life and what I'm doing and why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking and what is maybe stressing me out and what ways can they be supportive. So what more do you want to learn? And write that down so that it's there and you can keep coming back to this. You could see something that's new and different that you maybe want to touch in on and write it down, right? And then, of course, is there any other questions? And I just want you to make this a habit of writing questions down for your partner. Really thinking about, even if I know that, what would be questions I could ask to deepen my knowledge on that topic, on that issue, on those feelings, on those stressors, on these relationships, right? Like, sometimes you could take a conversation, right? Like, if I'm telling my partner, who is stressing me out, and he can make some connections too of like, wow, it kind of seems familiar for this other instance. It sounds like when you get into those conversations, they feel stressful. Like, have you ever thought about maybe what's behind that for you? I mean, that's helping me too do some like exploration work on myself, and not in a jerky way, in an observation curious way. And when we do this with frequency, and I know that's what my partner is doing, then again, it's the benefit of the doubt. I'm not looking at that as a negative kind of question, like you're questioning my choices, or you're trying to tell me I am at fault for these interactions. Right? Like, this is how we do. This is what we do. So I'm used to it. I know you're asking me questions from a place of genuine curiosity, not in a gotcha kind of way. And what we're going to continue to work on is to make the relationship feel in that place of positivity, so we don't have those thought processes as often, or if ever. Like, we don't go to the negative. We don't assume negative intent. We are adding deposits. We are adding so many deposits into the bank account by updating these love maps. By taking the time that you have to watch all these videos, to read what I've written down for you, to print out these forms, and then to do these exercises. Just that is therapeutic and helpful and shows commitment and priority, right? Like, this is what we want to do. So we're going to keep doing that so that we just like overflow this bank account. So again, we're in that positive sentiment space. So when I am being asked, or my partner's like, hey, let's like, I feel like there's these connections, that I don't take that as him trying to attack my character. I'm taking that as like, this person is just trying to help me have more self-awareness. And I trust them. So this is where we start. In order to build all of that up, in order for us to get to that place that we got to start here. We have to start in the love maps. And it's not just, again, something we do one time and then we walk away from it. We found all the information out during the dating phase and now we're done. Like, oh my God, no. The young woman I was when I met my husband is very different from the woman that I am today. I don't show up in the same way I used to as a 26-year-old. Right? I have different priorities. I have new awarenesses of self, of the world, how I want to engage with that, how I want my kids to see me, how I want my kids to engage in the world, how I want us as a family. Like, the similarities might be like, I want us to be good people, but the depth of it, the details, what the intentionality, the who, the what, the where, the when, the how, the color is more rich and vibrant. And I have learned and been able to create what I want that over the years through shared experience, through individual experience, through lessons I've learned, through trainings I've done, through self-help books I've read. It's created the fabric and the color and the depth of how I want us to show up and be good people. And having somebody be of witness to, ask questions about, get clarity, because they want to know, to better understand, to better make decisions and not assumptions. This is where we start. So why this might feel like, oh, we just asked a bunch of questions and then ask more questions. Like, it's really important to get into the habit of learning how to ask a good question. Because so often, it just happened this morning, at least 3 different times in my session, I said, that's a really good question. Because what I hear is from them is, this is what my partner thinks, feels, believes. So I'd say, well, it's a good question. Maybe ask your partner. And it's almost always wrong, which then tells me we're not spending nearly enough time on the love maps and of the updating of the love maps. So this is your chance. This is where you get to finish up any of the questions or get depth on them, all of that, right? This is what I want you to do. What did you learn, right? What do you want to know more about, or what do you want to understand better? And are there any other questions? All right, enjoy.